All right. I think I'm recording here. Good evening. This is your host, Dan Stafford, with the Midwestern Geek and Cali podcast, now a video cast. Video casting from 42 TARDIS Way, excuse me, here in Temecula, California, which is usually pretty sunny during the day, and actually it was today. Summer's winter home, I like to call it. And I have a few stories to talk about today. And let's see, let's bring the first one up here. I like this. Old electronics could be more profitable than literal gold mines. Now, with these stories that I bring up, I usually provide links on our blog at www.midwesterngeekandcali.com in the show notes for the episodes. I believe this will be episode 36. So look for that episode. If you look in the right sidebar, you can always find these episodes ordered by newest to oldest or oldest to newest. There's a couple of links over in the right sidebar of the website where you can select the episodes in order that way. Again, this should be episode 36. And this one is old electronics could be more profitable than literal gold mines. And they're not actually kidding. They did a case study on it and found that it was 13 times cheaper to mine precious metals out of used electronics. And we're talking tons of all kinds of useful metals than to mine ore. So I thought that was a very interesting story. If you want to find out more, go check out the show notes on episode 36. And then I'm going to get on to the next one. New AI journalist is rewriting the news to remove bias. Now that I got to like, because nowadays, the way most people are doing things, they're treating information like it's a pass in a football game or it's a 3-point throw down there. They don't care if it's factual or what, as long as their team wins. Except for we're not playing sports, we're playing real life and we're playing world affairs. Now, it's going to have a little more impact on the outcome of a football game or a basketball game. And the AI journalist, artificial intelligence, basically doing journalism, is making news old school. Just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts, sir. It's an interesting story. Go check out episode 36 on the blog for further details. And let's move on to the next one. Here. Marijuana compound removes toxic Alzheimer's protein from the brain. This one's interesting. They're saying basically that marijuana for older folks can actually help remove the amyloid plaque. It's specifically THC they're talking about, by the way, in the article. Can help remove amyloid plaques from the brain, at least so far in the lab. So, it looks like they're going to be looking into this further, especially now that multiple states have started legalizing this stuff. Again, for a deeper look, go check out the link at episode 36 at www.midwesterngeekandcali.com. And let's take a look at the next one. This one's a little more leaning towards the paranormal side. Humans draw energy from each other the same way plants do. I haven't really read this article in depth yet, and I'm kind of curious about it, but who knows? I'm going to want to read that one down. I think it has more to do with the bioelectrical field of the body, and that wouldn't shock me. I mean, with quantum entanglement, there might be, small transfers of energy that we're not aware of. I can't see where it's major. There's certainly emotional energy between people. That definitely people pull from each other. There's no question of that. So I just have to be curious as to how that is. But I also know going out in nature and being around plants is generally pretty good for you. I feel a lot better after I've spent some time outdoors on any given day, as long as the weather is, pretty good. And even better if I'm in an area with a lot of plants. So it doesn't strike me as too crazy out there. It's worth taking a look at. And then this one I want to read. I'm referencing this story here because it's one that I really want to read and I will be getting into. Ray Kurzweil, he's a well-known futurist. You probably heard him talking about an event called singularity. This is when our artificial intelligence systems get more intelligent than a human being. And he's expecting that singularity will happen by 2045. And they're expecting major changes in the world then. He was also talking about basically AI taking over the world and running it because we're too emotional to keep our objectivity in running the world. Sometimes I wonder if that would be the worst thing ever. I don't know. But it looks like a really good story and one I want to dig deeper into, and the link will be in the show notes. And then let's see. Physicists just discovered an entirely new type of superconductivity. Now that is really interesting because it's a completely different method of superconductivity, involving more electrons than there usually are and involving completely different materials than there usually are. So this is basically a whole new avenue for exploring the possibility of finding a room temperature superconductor, which is the holy grail of superconducting research. So it gives them another avenue to approach this from, and I think it's really going to be a cool thing. That is from sciencealert.com. That link will be in the show notes as well for episode 36. And this one I love. Mozilla releases anti-Facebook extension to Firefox to stop tracking. Basically, Facebook tracks you all over the web, and this is an add-on extension produced by Mozilla for Firefox that will stop Facebook from tracking anything you do outside of Facebook in the Firefox web browser. That one seems to me one that I'm probably going to add on myself before too awful long. So the link to that story will be in the show notes as well, and you might want to consider that. And let's see. This smart drug could hack your brain chemistry to increase your intelligence. Well, smart drugs have been around for a while. We know people in Silicon Valley use it. To me, when I skimmed through the article, it sounded more like a cocktail of multiple smart drugs and maybe a couple of new ones. Of course, none of this stuff goes through the FDA, but it sounds like from what I read in the article, users are swearing by it. Me right now, I'm either doing coffee or black tea. So, and at the moment, it's black tea, a combination of Constant Comment and an imported Turkish tea that's a mix of clove and cinnamon. And the two of them together are just wonderful. And that is it for the sciencey, newsy kind of stories tonight. News about myself. I am doing a lot more walking. I found that parking about a mile away from school at the mall and walking from the mall to school and walking from school back to the truck is giving me a good little bit of exercise, because right now while I'm in school full-time for Microsoft Certified Systems Administrator, I am sitting on my butt in front of a computer most of the day. I mean, lots of the day. I'm hardly up and moving physically at all otherwise. So this is a really good thing, and definitely a good one to do. And I'm real happy with that. Things are going well in school. I'm right now. I'm reading the textbook through cover to cover one more time to pick up on little bits that I missed here and there when I went through the first time. And I'm doing practice drills for testing for the 901, 902 tests for the CompTIA A+ certification. So I kind of expect to have that certification done in the next 2-3 weeks. So first couple of practice tests that I took today look good, but I can tell there's things that if I had read the book a little more carefully that I would have gotten right that I didn't on the practice exams. So I'm definitely going to dive into that a little deeper. And then that's really about all the news there is for me right now. Yeah, I think that's a good place to call it a night. So happy Vulcan fingers to you from the Agent of 42. And thank you for listening to the Midwestern Geek in Cali podcast. One of these days I'll get the little show intro, tune, music, whatever you want to call it, that I did myself on the guitar. I'll get that playing in the background one of these days when I start up or when I wind up. But right now, just doing the videos enough while I'm in school full time like this. So, all right. Have a wonderful evening. And thank you for listening to a Midwestern Geek in Cali out of lovely Temecula, California. Good night.